Welcome, everyone. And I'm actually going to start with a message that I have been really looking forward to bring that message already for 2 years. And now that it is time, I feel like, okay, so it is time. Yes. Talking a lot about, actually, since I started Female Wave of Change, that I really believe that we need to change leadership once in a while. And for me, that was actually after 5 years. So started 5 years, 6 years, now it's 7 years. And in the beginning of this year, I already told the board, okay, it's going to be July 1st. That's it. But then they said, okay, it's maybe better to do that after the conference. So I agreed it's going to be after the conference. And in the meantime, you're constantly looking, and actually already when you start an organization like this, you already start looking for who could be taking over, just in case you need someone that may step in. And today is the day that I am going to announce at least the one who is going to take over step by step. And that is already very important. So I'm not immediately gone, but it will happen. But before we share who this is going to take over, I really want to share that I'm very, very grateful that if you look what we have accomplished in the last 7 years, that has been really amazing. And I really want to share my gratitude to all of you who have been contributing and committing. And, this group that is always here at the Global Team Meeting, you are really the force behind Female Wave of Change. And I thank you for that. But it's also about the right vision that attracts the right people. It is about, the support that we got and we're able to give to women around the world. And we're able to guide women to step into their authentic feminine leadership, because that is what we're all about. So that has been really fantastic. There are so many things that we can be grateful for. And I don't want to forget that. Leading an organization like this, it takes vision. Time, a lot of time. The first 4 years were full time, and there was a lot of hours, a lot of energy, a lot of commitment, and so much more. There's always in an organization like this, you have your highs and your lows, like in a business, like in a family, like in a relationship, and that happens here as well. So, and that is okay. But I loved every step of it. And that is, it's very important. But 7 years of leadership is enough. So, Mommy Van, I'm going to mute you. But it works. We know that. So 7 years is enough. And we really need new blood in the organization. And therefore, I am very, very happy to introduce... I'm already starting to stutter. I'm happy to introduce you to someone who's very dear to my heart, and that is important. I've already talking with her about taking over leadership in 2019. That was the first time. So I was actually already very sure at that moment. Someone who is better able to share what Female Wave of Change is all about than many of us. And someone who has been here almost from the start. And that is also good, that it is not someone from outside the organization, but we really wanted someone from within the organization. And someone who is willing and able to replace me as president of Female Wave of Change. And I'm going to call her name, and some of you already know. Tebello is going to take over. That was a dream for me already. And, you know, she can, we already talked about it during the conference in South Africa. That was really the first time. Well, but because we know that this is a very demanding role. And believe me, I'm everywhere. You know, I'm in all these projects. I'm in finance, in legal, in all the social media platforms, to untangle me from this organization, that takes time. And it is also, you know, everything that when I step away, someone else needs to take over. So there will be a lot of work. And that is also why the board and Tebello and myself, we agreed that there will be a trial or learning period, however we're going to call it, of 3 months. And Tebello requested that during those 3 months, she will be mentored by Tina Thompson. Actually, Tina was the one who introduced us to Tebello, so that is good. She knows Tebello very well. And of course, she still has a very warm heart for Female Wave of Change. Also had conversations with all the board members in the beginning of this year, so that's very good. So there will be a trial learning period of 3 months. And during those 3 months, she will be taking over step by step a lot of the things that I'm doing now. So it's not going to be a clear cut and Tebello, good luck. That's not going to work, but I really trust that it will be, she will be fine. So in the coming 3 months, you will see less and less and less of me and more of Tebello. So that's great. She will have more roles. And of course, of the 3 board members, you know, Linka and Nawal and Charlie will also, of course, take up some of the responsibilities. I will remain here as founder, you know. Mami Von, I'm again going to mute you. Thank you. I will remain here as founder. You know, I will be the founder of Female Wave of Change until I die, I think. So I will be here, and at the conference, I promised that I am going to focus on 2 things, 2 very important things. One is funding. We're expecting this to also very persistent. I muted you again, Mami Van. So I'm going to focus on funding. That is a very important topic for Female Wave of Change. We need to get that money in, because if we do have those funding, we will be able to do a lot more projects than we can do now, and have more events and, you know, bring everyone together. And that will be really fantastic. And partnerships, global partnerships, local partnerships, etc. I already had a couple of meetings with organizations in the last couple of weeks, so already a lot is happening. So I will be focused on that. That will not mean that I will be in all global team meetings and all not, if needed. And if I feel like it, and if I have the time, I will be here because my heart is here, and that is very important. And of course, I will be spending a lot of time on my company, Wijsprong Society. And I'm really happy to see here also people that are also involved there. So we will stay in touch. And also, of course, spend a lot of time with my grandchildren, my family. That is, you know, something that those of us who are grandparents, they know. If not, you know, that will be such an amazing time in your life. So I'm going to spend more time with my children, my grandchildren, and travel more. And on my travels, I always love to travel and meet people, you know, where they live. And, you know, this year I was visiting Bonnie. I saw Charlie in Luxembourg, and I just love to meet others as well. And there is another trip planned in the beginning of the year. So that's a very exciting one. So I'm really happy to introduce again Tebello, and most of you know her very well. She was also the MC for the global conference. But I am going to ask her some questions, and we planned that I would do that. So that gives you a little bit more an idea of her plans with Female Wave of Change. So my first question, Tebello, why Female Wave of Change? Why is this organization for you so special? And what is it different from other organizations?
Um, Firstly, Ingun, thank you so much for our conversations that we've had and, the opportunity. Obviously, to everyone, I'm stepping into the shoes of the founder is not going to be an easy move. So you asked the question, and it's been such a beautiful journey seeing the growth of Female Wave of Change up to this point. So why this organization for me? From the moment Tina approached me and said, please come join, I said, definitely. And why was I attracted to that? I think for me, it was about the message of helping, women change makers. More importantly, for them to take responsibility.
The charges against Maranya. Okay.
Sorry, I'm also trying to sort out the phone here because I can see the laptop will close just now. So I'm saying that what was key for me was, when I heard the message that it's really about helping women to take responsibility to build their own futures, because I'd been exposed to women empowerment up to that point, and it was really about other people giving and giving and giving. And in this instance, it was about how do you create your own, change? How do you create your own waves, in the environment that you're in? And that's really what's kept me here. And it's been rewarding and encouraging to meet women who are contributing to a meaningful feminine transformation across the world. I mean, every time I look at people that have come out from the program of Women Leading in Change, and I think about the women that I have met through this platform that I know otherwise I would not have met, it's really been a rewarding opportunity for me. And more importantly, it's been so rewarding to see women take control of their own future. And I'm hoping that we continue to have many more that we will see and experience them taking control of, their future as change makers. Thank you.
Thank you, Tebello. So, there's a lot already happening, and especially last year, it has been really amazing with extra things like the podcast and the book, and of course the conference, Women Leading in Change, a lot of new things developing. We have a statement after the conference that includes a lot of action points that we need to be working on. But what do you feel, Tebello, will happen in the next couple of years?
Well, I think one of the things that I loved about Female Wave of Change is that I felt that I found my tribe, in the organization. And I hope that we will continue to help other women find their own tribes. So what do I see happening when they found their tribe? Number one is a deeper connection between, the members of the organization. Finding and working with the right partners. We know that we have a message to give, and it's about finding those right partners. Increasing the voice of the organization, globally. There's so much that we have done, and there's so much that we have potential with, and yet very few people really hear the voice of who Female Wave of Change is. And lastly, I loved the idea out of the conference about championing the voice of men, in the world, in terms of the kind of future that we'd like to live. And I believe that when we get that right, we will be a very unique organization that has been able to bring men in to help us leave the right legacy for our children.
Wonderful, Tebello. And well, Robert is here, so he can share more about that later. His first plans are already in the email, so you will learn more about it. What is it that you personally want to focus on? What is your power that you bring in?
I think my biggest power, Ingun, is helping other women find their voices. And in finding their voices, they use their voices to change their stories. As I said, I have seen it and I've experienced it, and I'd like to see to contribute to many more. I mean, in Africa, we know there are so many countries we can make a difference in. In South America, we know there are so many countries, we can make a difference in. Personally, I'd also like to see, the directory. We have this powerful tool that's called the Female Wave of Change Directory. And I'd like to see how we can improve its use and leverage of, the platform. And lastly, just really, one day when I say I'm stepping down as, the president of Female Wave of Change, it's really for me having seen women grow. And in them growing, they influence their children, they influence the communities that they are in. I've seen and I've heard so many of us when we share on social media about, our voices in terms of helping women to grow and share their voices. And it's in the way that we do it. We're not just sharing, that we want to see a world change, but it's in such a positive and encouraging way that we do it, that people say, yes, this is part of what I want to be. And for me, that's the message the legacy that I want to leave, that, we help grow the organization to help many more people, to be able to use their voices and change, and become the changes that make this wave. Every time I tell people about, the wave, that it starts with a drop, I can see that resonates with them. I think we've had enough drops now. We are ready to see small waves, going into the organization.
Absolutely, and I agree. And I will be there from the background, and we'll push you more and more to the stage where you belong, with also the other members of the board, of course, and all our ambassadors and all our members of the Circle of Wisdom. We really, yes, Female Wave of Change needs you. The world needs you right now more than ever. So wherever you can contribute, do so, because there's quite a list of projects that are intended to make happen in the next coming years. So for now, thank you so much. I'm not able to stay here for the rest of the meeting, and that is the first time in 7 years that I'm not going to sit out the whole meeting, but I'm really sure that the rest of the board will be able to guide you through this whole process. So I'm going to make someone host, and I'm going to step away. So thank you and have a wonderful global meeting.